Okay, we are gathered to speak out against the despicable actions of the Trump administration in its first 145 days. Today is Flag Day, commemorating the U.S. Army's 250th birthday and the creation of the Stars and Stripes. We were fighting against a king then, and we are fighting against a wannabe king now. Pity the nation whose people are sheep and whose shepherds mislead them. Pity the nation whose leaders are liars, whose sages are silenced, and whose bigots haunt the airwaves. Pity the nation that raises not its voice and except to praise the conquerors and acclaim the bully as hero, and aims to rule the world by force and by torture. Pity the nation that knows no other language but its own. Pity the nation that knows no other culture but its own. Pity the nation whose breath is money, and pity the nation who sleeps the sleep of those too well fed. Pity the nation, oh pity the people who allow their rights to erode and their freedoms to be washed away. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty.
I stand here before you as a survivor, an immigrant, and a proud American who once escaped tyranny, only to watch the shadows of that tyranny try to rise again. Here in America, we would not allow this to happen. My family fled the killing fields of Cambodia. We escaped the Khmer Rouge, a brutal regime that tried to erase our identity, erase our freedoms, and crush our spirits. They turned our homeland into a prison of fear under the name of communism. We made it out. We made it out here to America. We found refuge here. The founding father of democracy, a place that promised liberty, democracy, and justice. A place where we believe authoritarianism had no home. Make it loud, guys. Today, I feel the ground is shifting. Under the Trump administration, I see a dangerous turn. I see echoes of what my family ran from. When a leader praises dictators instead of defending democracy, we must sound the alarm.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. As you've heard, I am a classroom teacher and a policy advocate. And today I am here to speak and share the reality of the attacks on our schools and what is at stake if we don't stand up, speak out, and fight back for our students and for our futures. I've been so fortunate to sit with the former U.S. Secretary of Education, lead congressional briefings, speak directly to lawmakers about what our schools truly need. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is exactly the opposite of what we need. We know their goal. They've made it crystal clear. Would you believe that 42% of Project 2025 is already complete? A plan the GOP claims is not theirs, even as they implement it piece by piece. When it comes to education, 35% of their objectives are already complete. But Project 2025 is only part of the story. Through executive orders, this administration has targeted USDA aid, slashing $15 million from Massachusetts, cutting the support that connected local farmers and our schools to provide fresh and healthy food. They've also eliminated Job Corps. You know, that thing that's often the last lifeline for young adults trying to find a stable, meaningful future. And if it wasn't enough, they are now dictating what we can and cannot teach in our schools. Decisions. These are decisions that should be only left to the professionals in the classroom. In Lowell Public Schools, our students speak 72 different languages. I've taught multilingual learners, newcomers, refugee youth who have found a sense of belonging despite the odds. Some now live in constant fear and anxiety that their lives could be disrupted by a single sweep of a pen on an executive order, something that is far beyond their control. Our most marginalized students are already dealing with so much. And now this? What are we doing? How can we expect students to engage in learning when they carry that kind of trauma, that kind of weight to just walk through the doors?
This one's from Lowell, and this actually happened right around the corner from where we are. It happened nearly exactly where we stand. In the 1830s and 1840s, Lowell's economy depended entirely on cotton. 100% of the enterprise in Lowell depended on enslaved labor, depended on the growing of cotton, the picking of cotton, and the shipping of cotton north. Lowell's entire economy, everything about it, is tied directly to the institution of slavery. No cotton, no Lowell, no labor of enslaved people to ship tons and tons of cotton to Lowell, no Lowell. Across the city, despite that, an anti-slavery movement had been built by female mill workers, by ministers, by other members of the community, including a free black population, and individuals who'd escaped enslavement and stayed here living in the city of Lowell and working in the city of Lowell. Underground railroad sites dotted the city. Freedom seekers came here, stayed, rested, operated businesses, became active community members. In 1850, much like what we're going through now, Congress passed something called the Fugitive Slave Law. Some of us may remember that back in our history. The Fugitive Slave Law basically made it a federal crime to knowingly harbor or assist any enslaved person seeking freedom. If you lived in Lowell and you knew that an enslaved person operated a barbershop in Lowell, which many did, or a hairdresser, or was a carpenter, or a house builder, whatever they would be, you were now, by this law, mandated to turn them in. If you did not turn them in to the federal government, you could be arrested, you could go to jail. So the Fugitive Slave Law, much like the scene that we're having now with roundups, ICE roundups, very similar. Private citizens who aided freedom seekers could be jailed for 6 months. A person rounded up, again, the corollary here. A person rounded up had no right to an attorney, no right to a jury trial, or even the ability to plead their case. On the word of a single white slave catcher, they could be separated from their family and disappeared. This happened across New England. Freedom seekers who'd settled in Lowell now left for Canada. They didn't want to take the chance of being picked up off the streets of the city of Lowell. In response, a gigantic rally meeting, much like this one, was held in downtown Lowell in Old City Hall on Merrimack Street. People at that meeting pledged with their lives publicly to defend any of the freedom seekers who had left Lowell and gone to Canada. As a consequence, almost everybody that had gone to Canada came back to Lowell. And Lowell was one of only a few cities in, paper sticks together. Lowell was one of only a few cities in the entire Northeast where nobody was ever taken from its streets. The Underground Railroad continued operating in the 1850s in Lowell. I want to read a little bit from a newspaper article and wrap it up. The article is entitled "Bound for a Land of Freedom." It's in a newspaper called the Daily Citizen in 1859. It describes how on January 11, 1859, 3 fugitives, a husband, wife, and child, left Lowell and headed toward Canada. It read in part, "The fugitives reached this city in an exhausted condition and were kindly cared for by some of our citizens. After a couple of days' rest, they started on the last leg of their perilous journey." Their article concluded, "1,000 cheers for the Underground Railroad. It has paid a glorious dividend." 1,000 cheers for what's taking place around the country today. A mass movement is growing to stop the always chicken out Burger King and his minions from harming the world. Yeah, I'm going to copyright that. Always chicken out Burger King. In the words, finally, of Kenyan human rights activist Wanjiru Wanjiru, "When we lose our fear, they lose their power." Thank you. Thank you.
Right here, right now. Please join me in singing this song. We're going to let nobody turn you around. And I know the horns are on your side. But let's see.
This rally is about democracy. And so I want to talk about why the fight for climate change and democracy are connected. The fossil fuel industry spent over $400 million in the 2024 election cycle, and a whole bunch went to Donald Trump. Ooh. Around the world, fossil fuels are used to prop up authoritarian governments in Venezuela, in Russia, in the Gulf. And this is because the fossil fuel industry is going to get what it wants no matter what. The use of fossil fuels and authoritarianism are inextricably linked. And that's probably why Donald Trump likes it so much. Here's another reason why we need to fight climate change in fighting for democracy. By 2050, there are projected to be 1 billion climate refugees. And I'm not talking about people being displaced from small island nations due to sea level rise. I'm talking about entire areas of the world, in Central America, in the Indian subcontinent, and likewise, that will be uninhabitable due to extreme heat, food insecurity, and major flooding. 1 billion people. Where are they going to go? And this president wants to tell us that we have too many immigrants now, and that's why ICE has to terrorize our neighborhoods today? These people are not telling us the truth. We are not prepared for the suffering that awaits us if we do not do something. But as dire as it may seem, it is not hopeless. We can still fight climate change. And the number one thing that we need to do is to stop burning fossil fuels as fast as we can. That's right. We need to stop burning natural gas in our buildings. We need to stop burning gasoline in our cars. And we need to stop burning diesel in generators that run data centers for AI.
In South Lowell.
In South Lowell. There's one in South Lowell. And they like diesel. We don't like diesel. And to do this, we need to pressure our elected officials at every level of government, the city, the state, and the federal government, that we need to take serious climate action as quickly as possible. We need to tell our city officials that they need to pass a stronger building code to prevent emissions from buildings. They need to make the local transit better. We need to tell our state officials to keep the climate targets that they have in place and to pass a bill to make the large polluters pay for the damage of what they've done. And we need to tell the federal government to stop subsidizing oil companies and to keep funding for clean energy. We need clean energy now. So thank you all for being here. Let's save our democracy and let's fight climate change. Thank you so much.
Hey, just a moment. It's call and response. So when I sing "No Kings," guess what you sing back?
And I know the horns are on our side, but let us be louder than the horns and bring this message out. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on a-walking, keep on a-talking, walking up to freedom land. No Donald Trump ain't gonna let no Donald Trump turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no Donald Trump turn me around. Keep on a-walking, keep on a-talking, walking up to freedom land. No